Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing good. I can see one hand raised here. So, Diya Sachdev, do you want to ask anything?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah.
I actually had a question. I was trying to set up my environment using the VS Code, and it was showing me an error. Like it worked fine yesterday, but while I was working on it today, it said that it like use a production VSGI server instead. I could share my screen, but could you please help me with that? I'm not able to run my code.
I don't think you'll be in a position to share your screen. You need to be made co-host in order to share your screen. Can you, means I'm not sure, when you are opening it in the browser, then you are getting this message?
So actually it worked fine yesterday. Today, when I just run Python/m flask run, it said that this is a development server. Do not use it for production deployment.
You are trying to run
Python/m flask run.
Why you want to run Flask?
So, sir, I tried using Python app.py that then also didn't run.
Looks like Diya, you have joined the wrong session. This is for Mat 2. I guess you are referring to Modern Application Development 1 course.
Oh shit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Right.
Yeah, both sessions are happening at the same time. That's why the confusion came.
Yeah, but how that calendar invite is visible?
Also, some people get WhatsApp messages, no? Maybe they join it from there.
Yeah, I get WhatsApp messages for all of the diploma courses.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be the issue. Okay, anyways, yeah. So we'll start then. Yeah, so once again, very good morning to you all. Well, so in today's session, we are gonna do some experimenting with the Vue framework. We'll be writing a very small application. You can say a minimal application, just to get familiar with the basic syntax and functionality of how Vue works and how useful it is. So before we get started, I think we published some of the practice exercises, the programming Vue exercises for week 3 and week 4. May I know how many of you have tried that and are able to complete all of those exercises?
So those practice exercises, right? The one not graded. That one.
Correct.
Actually, sir, just I have tried it to its entirety, but in one of the things it said something about using ViewBind to display something in an HTML. One of the questions, I think it's supposed to be VHTML and not VBind. I think there is one correction in the question. Maybe I'm wrong.
Which week? Week 3 or 4?
Week 3.
Week 3. Okay, I'll just open the course dashboard once. I'll get back to you. So yeah, Kumar has raised your hand. Means, do you have any question or you just want to tell that you have completed it?
Oh, just inform, sir, that completed.
Okay, you have completed all of the exercise?
Yeah, week 3, both.
Week 3 and week 4?
Not week 4, I didn't try that. Week 3, there was a 2 assignment.
Yeah.
So both I completed.
Okay, great, nice. Anyone who has tried the exercise for week 4, I guess that is something, I would say, a little complex.
I think week 4 was today or the next session we will discuss.
We are into week 4 right now.
Yes.
So actually, I did not see the week 4 till now. I don't know when it came actually.
Can we discuss next session after?
Okay, so basically the session that we had planned for today, that is gonna be on the top of the statement given in that week 4 practice programming exercise. So we are gonna create a simple login type of application where we'll have a simple text area to enter username and passwords and all, and a simple login button. That's it. but we'll see how we can achieve the functionality that we have tried to mention in the exercise that was given in week 4, that if a certain string satisfies all of the criteria, like if it has one uppercase character, if it has one lowercase character, or some things like that.
Okay, sir. We can check lives.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so this is gonna be a open-ended session. We'll be taking all of your suggestions, and we'll proceed further after taking all of those suggestions, and we'll see. So Rahul, the week 4 session, I guess it was delivered live. I'm not sure if you checked the announcement or the Monday's live session.
No, sir. Sorry, I thought you were referring to the practice lab assignment week 4.
Yeah, okay, practice lab assignment.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So we'll start basically with that application. So I'll just share my screen. Yeah, I hope it is now visible.
Yes, sir.
Let me just open the portal problem. Yeah, so you're talking about exercise 1. Am I
So
correct?
in exercise 1, it's use the v directive v bind to set the text of the paragraph. Is it v bind or vhtml? Because I think v bind can't do that, right? The v bind is for just HTML attributes, and vhtml
okay.
is for.
Okay. Yeah, you are correct. All right. So thanks for pointing it out. We'll correct it. All right. Well, I guess that was a simple problem. There is not much problem you would have faced in completing the exercise 1. Exercise 2, you might have to do a bit of work in order to find out what is happening where, since the code you may not have found very easy to understand in the beginning. So we'll be taking this problem if the time permits in the end of this session. But the primary focus of today's session is to basically work on the the exercise given in the week 4. That is this one. So basically create a password input field with 4 labels next to it. So these labels are to indicate whether password has at least one lowercase, one uppercase, one number. Okay, so one number and one special character. So initially all the labels can have a red type of background. And if we'll start typing, and if the password satisfied any of those criteria, the corresponding labels will change their background colors accordingly. Yeah, so this is what we are trying to implement. By the way, anyone would like to give any initial hints on means how to approach this problem?
So I'm just seeing it right now. Rendering a computed property for each of those labels might be appropriate. So the moment, and using the model to bind the one variable like the password variable to it, so that the moment the password variables satisfies the condition of one of the labels will change from, say, a button danger to button success, like that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, correct. So
Sir, can we also do it simply with JavaScript when we can apply a key up event on in input field?
yeah, definitely you can apply key up event as well. But since we are using Vue, we also want to make use of two-way pointing. So I think V model will make it easier for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just create the setup. Okay, so I will be using VS Code for today's session. You can use any other IDE if you want. So I basically need 2 files here. One is index.html. It can be any other thing or any other HTML file. And the other file that we need is a JS file. So let's name it as app.js. Again, it can be anything, whatever you want. So here I'll just write this boilerplate code. Okay. I basically need to attach a script here. So in order to get that script, I'll get it from the Vue documentation. So I'll get it from here. If you are trying to use this script, you may not be able to use the extension in your browser for debugging purpose, as this is meant for production. So we'll suggest you to use the development version of it. Second. Yeah. And after that, we need one more script here. Yeah, okay, all right. So we'll be putting a content in between. I'll create a container tag and let's name it as you can put anything, ID or class, whatever you want, but we usually select ID because it's unique for each element. Let's say demo, or let's say app. You can do anything. And then here we'll be starting by creating a Vue instance. So I hope you all are now aware how basically we can create a Vue instance. I'll just put it in a const variable as of now. Well, okay. So yeah, can someone tell me what are the different arguments or parameters that we need to pass on to this Vue constructor?
What is data?
Sorry.
The element EL and data.
Yeah, so the very first thing, it will basically accept an object, right? Is it correct?
Yes, sir. EL.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now we'll specify that which element we want this object. Okay. So we want to bind it with the which element we want to bind it with this div. And as we know, the ID of this div is app. So basically what we'll write here, we'll write hash. So this hash is basically saying that hash means the next thing that comes after it is basically an ID. So we need to bind it to an element having ID app. If we would have put it a dot here, that means it would have considered this app a class and would try to find an element having class app. So for now, I'm putting it hash since we have written ID.
Sir, are we restricted to use EL as a property name, or we can use anything?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Sir, are we restricted to use EL as a property name, or we can use anything?
Okay, this one, this attribute.
Yes, sir.
I think this should remain as it is.
Okay.
The other thing is basically the data instance or the data object, I should say.
Sir, just one question. Sir,
Yeah.
for that EL, if you put a dot, it refers to a class, right? Like
it refers to a class, correct?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The second thing that this options object requires is basically data object. And sorry. After that, we can have methods. Then we can have computed properties. What else can we have? Okay, we can have vouchers. Yeah, so these are basically the things that a Vue instance can have. You need not create each and everything. I have just written it here so that you can understand, okay, that all of these things can be passed within the options object. So this data will basically have the variables that we want to use. Methods will basically define the functions. Computed properties are very much similar to what methods do. but have a small difference. I guess that has been clarified in one of the live sessions, that the value of computed properties, they are basically cached and they won't change each time whenever this computed property is called or invoked. And this watch property basically gets invoked each time whenever the corresponding instance variable value changes. All right, so what we need to put up here, since we just want to create a simple login form. Well, before starting with the login form, let us first work on the exercise given in the week 4. Let us just try to work with the password, because after once we are able to get that password working, I think putting up a username, user field, and submit button, I guess that won't be of that won't require much of the work. So we'll just start with that password. Okay. So what do we need here? Let me just put a label. Right, and this label will say enter password. Okay, and after this label, we are gonna have an input box whose type is gonna be the text. It means it is gonna accept the text. And I want to basically achieve two-way binding here. So what is the directive that we can use in order to achieve that two-way binding in view application? Yeah, we can use
model.
View model, correct? And we need to give an instance here. Let's say pass here. Pass means just short for password. And we'll close this. Now, since we have this pass here, we also want this pass to be here in the data object. So I'll just create pass. What should be the means what should be the initial value for this pass? How should we initialize it?
It should be empty string.
It should be empty string. The reason?
Sir, actually, it will automatically display the empty string in that input box also.
Yeah, correct. So since when this password field will appear on the screen, we don't want any text being put into it when we'll open the tab for the first time. So that's why we want to keep it empty. And then when the user starts typing, the pass will automatically get populated accordingly. Okay. Now, after that, let's give a break here. So I'm using BR. I know means you can use any other thing, whatever you want, but I'm just using BR for making the things quick. Okay. So now we'll start putting the labels. So one label is basically for if, let's say, password has at least one uppercase character. I'll copy this and we'll paste it for the next three things. One is uppercase. The second is basically lowercase here. What was the other thing? Okay, one was number. And the other thing?
Special character.
Okay, a special character. Yeah. So now we have put all of those 4 labels here. That means we'll be able to get these rendered on the browser. But since we need to do some kind of highlighting, means if this condition is satisfied, then only means we need to differentiate if that particular condition or that particular label, whether it or this password satisfies this criteria or not. So initially, what we can do is we can put a background color here as red. Okay. Well, since we need to change it dynamically, we can use the background color property here, but we basically need to perform some data operations that will be coming from our view instance in order to change that background color dynamically. So if we want to, basically get that data from the view instance and use on this HTML, which view directive can we use? In order to perform one-way data binding, we want to get the data from view instance.
On style.
Sorry?
We can use bbind on style.
We can use bbind. Well, yeah, you can simply put colon as well, but let's just use the expanded form as of now. And which attribute we can use? I think we can use style attribute.
So we can also use like something like bootstrap and then use the class.
Yeah, so I
attribute
just want to show you the basic functionality. I know you all can use the bootstrap and can do stuff with it. So I'll not focus on that design as of now. I'll just focus on the functionality at least today. Okay, so this style is gonna be an object, and what value we need to pass in here? Which property we want to change? We want to change the background color. Okay, what should be the background color? Let's say we'll write something here, but before that, I'll want to discuss about this. If we are writing this background color, and let's say we'll pass a variable here whose value is let's say red initially. We'll see that this label will have a red background color. Why? The reason is that we are using one-way data binding here, which is basically taking the data from our view instance and putting it here. That means that let's say I have a variable here. Since it has uppercase, I'll say it will be uppercase. And I'll initialize this uppercase with a color name, let's say red. So this background color will ultimately have a value red. And we will be able to see this background color being rendered on the browser. But right now you can see that we are using this capital C here, correct? We are using this initial letter B in lowercase, but the starting letter of the second word here, we are using it in uppercase. Can anyone tell me why? Why we are using such?
I think it is CSS property, sir.
Yeah, it is CSS property, correct. But CSS property basically looks something like this. It has a hyphen in between, and yeah, well, basically you can ignore that case. It basically has a hyphen in between.
Maybe it is the view property.
Well,
Sir,
you
maybe
can
from
say that,
JavaScript, background color is a property.
yes. So background color is basically a property of style object. Right now we are using it in kebab case. Right, in kebab case, what we usually do is that the first letter of the second word should be written in uppercase. Just for the understanding of the view. Okay, that means it can be considered as a property which is written in kebab case. Right, but if we want to write it like background color means like I showed you the way you write it in CSS. In that scenario, you basically need to wrap it inside a inside a pair of quotes. You need to do it like this. So this is basically the difference in using camel case and kebab case.
Sir, should it always be single quotes or double quotes can also be used?
I am using double quotes outside, so that's why I'm using single. If you are using single, so you can use double here. Yeah. So this is basically the difference. It doesn't matter much, but I guess it's good to know. Okay. So this background color, we are putting a property here, uppercase, and let us define this uppercase property. Just save this. Let us just define this uppercase property here as well. And let's define it as red. We'll be needing 3 more different properties, one for lowercase, one for number, and one for okay, sorry, special character. I'm forgetting this again and again. So lowercase, and its property is also gonna be red. Do you think I'm writing it in correct way? Yeah, do you think I'm writing it in correct way?
Sir, I think red should be quotes because that should be.
Yeah, okay, correct. And then the special, it can again be red. Yeah, so basically we need to wrap it in a pair of quotes so that we can make it a string. Well, basically, why are we using so many different variables? Let us create an object itself, right? Let's create an object, let's say with name, let's say track. And these all are basically the properties of this track object. Right. And yeah, let us just see what is happening. I want to experiment one thing. Okay, so we have our track object here who has 4 properties: uppercase, lowercase, number, and special. In that case, we cannot have it as uppercase. We need to write it as what shall we write so that we'll be able to get the value from this uppercase attribute?
Track dot uppercase.
Yeah, correct. So I'm writing track dot uppercase. Let us just see that how it's get rendered on the browser. I'll just open it. Okay, so right now I want to put BR after each of those. Yeah. I think this seems too dark. That was basically my concern initially. This seems too dark. Is there any way that we can make this color a bit dim? We don't want to change the color name, but we want to make it dim. Is there any way to do it?
We can use binary format, hexadecimal format.
Okay, so we need to get the color code, right?
Yes, or we can also create like that, since we know that red color is, if I know the format of 2 to hexadecimal, then it is better.
Okay. Well, there is one more thing that we can use here, and that is the
opacity.
Sorry?
Like changing the opacity in the CSS property.
Changing the, sorry, I'm not getting it.
Yes, yes, opacity is telling it is also.
Okay. Yeah, so we are going to do a similar type of thing. Instead of putting it right here, what I'm gonna do here is I will say RGB and RGB, and I'll pass the value of means all of these 3 colors separate. So since I want this label to be of red background color, the maximum value any character can have here or any color can have here is 255. I hope you know about RGB format. Right, it basically says red, green, and blue. So I want to say that I want to have the maximum component of red, 0 component of green, and 0 component of blue. If I'll save this and will refresh this, so you can see there is no change at all, because ultimately we are having the red color here. Okay. But now what will I do is I will include that A alpha that can be considered the opacity in some sense. So here we can basically decide what the brightness of the color should be. The maximum brightness the color can have is 1, and I want to make it completely half of it, let's say 0.5. So now you can see that the brightness of that color has now been reduced by some margin. Are you able to observe that? I'm not sure, but I think I can observe it clearly from the last time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or if you want, we can even decrease it by 1 more. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah. So basically what we are doing is we are using the RGBA format where we are defining the separate values for each of the color, red, green, blue, and basically this A stands for alpha. That can be considered as what I say brightness or opacity in some sense, and we are decreasing it by, you can say we are simply dividing it by 2. It usually it is generally 1, but right now we are keeping it 0.4 or 0.5, anything. You can use whatever you want. I'll just copy this and we'll put it in the rest of the labels as well. Sorry. Okay, that is done. And we also need to put the same thing in each of the labels as well. Okay, so let's just change it to lowercase. Let's just change it to uppercase, lowercase. The third one will be number. Fourth one will be special. It's special, right? Special. Okay. Special. Okay. Yeah. So, do you think we should get the desired output now? Means we should get 4 labels, and they all should be having, dim kind of red background color. And yeah, we can see all of the labels having that dim background color. And right now, if I do anything, nothing happens. The color won't change. Right. So we will have to write the code for it. Yeah. So this was just the basic HTML. We have done. We have not done much of it. Now the main thing would basically start. What we need to do is that whenever the value of kind of special character. The very first thing, by the way, am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
I just got a message on my screen regarding internet, so that's why I just wanted to confirm. Okay. Yeah. So now we want to move one step forward. That means as the user start typing in, we want to change the background color of the labels for which the password satisfies the criteria. In order to do that, I guess someone of you suggested in the beginning that we can have some computed properties, right, that could change the background color in response to an event or in response to a value change in the what I say, this PASSP. Right, I'm not sure means who gave that idea in the beginning, but if that person is still
my idea was that instead of assigning uppercase to this fixed value, the uppercase itself will be a like a computer, not that string, that would be a computer property, that RGBA something, and it would be defined here, and the computer property would be defined underneath that computer section.
Okay, so these properties will be defined in the computed section. And how would you define it? Means how would you compute it, with what criteria?
The pass variable would we would check if like uppercase letter is in pass variable, lowercase letter is in pass variable, and then number is in and special character is in, and depending on that we can set that computer property return either RGBA, that red color, or either maybe green or some other color if it satisfies.
Okay, I got the idea. I guess this approach is also not very much different from that. You could do that in computed as well, no issues. But the question arises here is that how do we know that if a particular character is in uppercase, lowercase, number, or it's a special character? How do we know that?
We can do one thing, sir.
Yeah.
In the computer, since every time we enter the number, so we can track the every character, and we can verify with that is ASCII value. So we know that ASCII value of A to Z, and that 1 to 0, and the special character.
How do you get that ASCII value?
We can, since we know that that is that value, or otherwise dynamically also we can get. I'm not sure right now, that I have to check that. But either two ways there. We can get the dynamically also each character. Otherwise, we know that
Okay, and there
from-
is one more thing I want to confirm. Sorry. So you said that if we are in the computed property, we can basically fetch what was the new character entered in that text box, right?
no, the actually new character is that in the watch we can get, but we use the some algorithm something to get the new character, because every time it is the entire thing will be come.
No, even
Not
in the
in-
watch, we won't get the new character. We will get the complete new value.
Yeah, and in compute also we will get the entire character. So at the end, so I can take that reverse method to get the last character. Means -1 in the array, -1 property we can get
Okay,
the
but
whatever the
what
last
if I
character.
have tried to? What if I have tried to delete the character from the input box instead of adding a new one?
Yeah, then because the new updated will be there. So if even I am trying to delete that new character will be just before after deleting.
No. Suppose I have a string, let's say HELLO. So since you have applied a kind of logic that every time you are checking the last character of an index, the last character of this password string, right?
Yes.
So the moment you enter O, it will track O, and somehow we'll get to know, okay, this O is in uppercase or lowercase, and we'll accordingly change the background. But let's say the next moment I deleted that O. And again, if the logic remains same, that you are getting the last, the last index character, now that will be L. And let's say the case has now been changed. The O that we deleted, that was in uppercase, and this L is in lowercase.
Sorry, sir, your last sentence I couldn't hear. Sound was not coming.
Just a minute.
After
Just a minute, please. Okay. Hello. Am I audible properly?
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is that the moment you delete the last character from that input box,
Yes.
right? Suppose the last character that you deleted is O, that was an uppercase,
Okay.
and the second last character that has now become the last character in that string. Let's say L.
Yes.
If we are talking about hello, that is in lowercase.
Yes.
So if the logic remains the same, how would you handle it?
Yes. So whenever we delete or we push or the pop anything,
Okay.
whatever the updated value there, I will get the last, because even after deleting the O,
Yeah.
the something will update. Then in the our compute, I will get the L only in the last thing, because it is the two-way winding is there. So every time it's fetching. So every moment we enter or delete, we will get the last character.
Okay, we'll be able to get the last character. This is what you are saying. And sorry for asking it again. What will we do with that last character?
To check that it is the which character is there, means which type of the new character whatever we did,
Okay.
so which is the which, and then
Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, looks like Kumar lost his internet. Let's just
way of
wait.
programming, yeah, we can make it more optimized also.
Kumar, basically we lost you for a couple of seconds, I guess.
Okay, so, so I was telling that this logic can be little extensive in the way of computing. We can make it more optimized also, but after a little thinking, just this idea
Yes, yeah, definitely. Okay.
Sir, can I actually point out something in Kumar's?
Yeah, sure. Please.
Actually, Kumar, there is actually one issue in your logic. The thing is that, see, if the user moves from a blank string and pastes the password, for example, then the view would change from empty string to the whole password. that is an issue, that is a case that you need to handle also. So I think your logic won't work when the user does something like that.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, that's a good observation. Means if you paste a long string at once. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, but initially that's a good idea to start with. I think yes, you can definitely work on it and can get it working. But right now, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm getting that message again and again on my screen. I don't know if my voice is lagging in between. Is it lagging in between?
No, sir.
Okay, not sure why I'm getting that message again then. Okay, well, so the approach that I can think of right now, or that I will be using for today's session is that we'll try to fetch basically the SKI value, as Kumar mentioned initially, for each and every character that is entered in that input text box. And then we will check that if that SKI value, it falls in that range for uppercase range, then accordingly we'll change the background color for that uppercase. The same thing will be applied for the rest of the three conditions as well, lowercase, number, and special. The same way I will be handling that. But now the question arises is that if someone tries to delete a string, in that case, that logic would fail. Well, I would like to, go forward with this idea, and after that, we'll think about the problem that what will happen if the user tries to delete a character. How do we change the background color back for a particular label if that condition is not satisfied anymore? We'll think about it maybe in a later part of this session, but let's try to get what we want to do right now. We are first trying to change the background color from red to green. Now, for changing it from green to red, we'll again come on that once we wrote the complete logic for that. So, as some of you mentioned, that we can definitely use the computed properties for that, but I will be using Watcher as of now, as I think it would be easier for us to start with, since we'll be able to get the new value each time the value of this pass variable changes. So what will I say is I'll create a Watcher for this pass, and if I will say, let's say the new argument, it can be anything. Let's say well. So what does well basically represent? Can anyone tell me? What this VAL will represent? I'm using a Watcher. Sorry?
The updated value, new value.
Yeah, correct. So if I have just one parameter here, that means I'm trying to, I'm interested in only the new value. If I want to, show some interest in the old value as well, from what it got changed, I can basically include one more parameter in this function definition. But right now I don't worry about the previous value or the old value. I guess that is fine. Okay. Now the thing that matters is we somehow need to get the logic done for basically getting the SKI value for a particular character. How do we get the SKI value? We basically have a function for that in JavaScript. Okay, I guess char code at just a minute. Yeah, so this method basically returns us an integer that basically gives us the Unicode value. Okay, so we'll be using this method in order to get the SKI value that we were discussing initially. I'll just copy this method, but as you know, I cannot put it directly here because this new value is not a single character. It's basically a whole string that has evolved from its old value, whatever it was. It can be even an empty string if you have tried to delete some. Okay, so can someone suggest me what logic can I put here so that I will be, applying that char code at only at a particular index?
We can loop through the value.
Okay, we can loop. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's use it. So let's say we are gonna use the for loop. Let's say we'll start with 0, and what should be the condition here?
Length of
It's the
value.
length.
val dot length.
Okay, well dot length, and this I will keep increasing. Well, basically, I'm using an extension here. You can see that basically these brackets, the opening and the closing bracket, they are being shown in a similar color so that I can understand, okay, that this is basically the closing bracket for this. This yellow is basically for this blue is for watch, and this is for the view instance. So I'm using a VS Code extension here. I'm not exactly sure about the name, but yeah, it is this bracket pair. It is a bracket pair colorizer. This is the extension that I'm using here. It is very useful when we are basically working with so many different scopes. It helps us to understand which scope we are writing our code in. Yeah, anyways. Okay, so we'll be able to get that, and let us create one more variable here. Let's say ch, and we'll write it here. Value that char code at, and what should be the index here? The index should be I. Is it correct? Is it correct?
It will be the val I.
Sorry?
Value I, not I because, okay, yes.
Yeah, it's I means I is basically having the index. We are iterating over VL. I is the index. And now we need to apply some conditions that if this I is in a particular range, let's say we start with the uppercase. So we know that an uppercase character, that means the capital A. What is the ASCII or Unicode value? Well, of course, Unicode will use ASCII for that. We are having these capital A and all, these common characters. So what is basically the decimal ASCII value for capital A?
65.
Yeah, it's 65. So what we'll check is that CH, if it is greater than equals to 65, and the CH in the same case, it should be less than equals to something. So what should be the value of Z, capital Z? It should be 65. Okay, it should be 90. Right, so English has 26 characters. So from 65 to 90, yeah, we'll have the set of capital letter characters. We'll do something if this condition is satisfied, but after that,
we can do also one thing, sir. If I don't remember,
yeah,
then dynamically I can put it like that. Instead of 65, we can write that a dot car at the value 0, so it will automatically get from that. So we don't have to know the value of everything.
No, sorry, I didn't get it. Char code at will basically return you the ASCII value at that particular index.
No, so instead of 65,
yeah,
if I write a in quote a dot character code at 0,
yeah,
so it will automatically come the ASCII value of that.
So char code at 0, that means you're trying to basically refer to the first character, right, in this VAL string.
No, so I have written in the chat box. So it will give the character code of the
okay. Got it. Yeah, I got your idea. Okay. Yeah, that could be done. Okay. Well, so this is the I have not written anything, but will we do if this condition is satisfied? We'll fill it afterwards when we'll complete or we'll finish writing all of the conditions. The second condition we need to check is for the lowercase, and I hope the lowercase a, it starts from 97. Yeah, so Kumar, you can do that way as well. I think, yeah, that should work also. Where should it end? 97 less than equals to, it should be 73. Okay, it should be 122. We'll again do something afterwards. The next condition, it can be for the number. The number basically starts from 40. I guess it starts from 48. Just a minute. Well, I guess it's what to remember the SI values of at least the starting of these things.
48, sir. 48 to 57.
Yeah, so here's the 1, and sorry, we need to start with 0. Yeah, 48, and I guess it would be then 57. Yeah, 57. Then it is 57. All right. Again, we'll do something. So if this condition is not satisfied, then we can assume that the user would have entered what I say, special character. No, I think we don't consider space as a special character. Okay, wait. So we need to again use the else if. Well, let me just try to understand if I didn't make myself clear. Well, we have checked for the uppercase, we have checked for the lowercase, we have checked for the number is. Now, since we are using elif, that means only one of those conditions can be satisfied at once, right? Or even that's the reality. Means if the conditions, if this condition satisfies, you can guarantee that no other condition will satisfy, right? Now, what I was thinking here is that I can simply put it in else, because we have checked for the uppercase, we have checked for the lowercase, we have checked for the number. Everything else remaining can be considered as a special character, right? But I think the space character is not considered as a special character. So we need to get those values. What are the ASCII values or Unicode values for special characters? Settings.json add.
Sorry, actually, I just found that to enable the same thing that you enable with that extension, only thing that we need to do is that add this in the VS Code settings.json. I just want to put that out.
Okay.
And nothing related to the current thing.
Yeah, sure. No issues. Okay, so we need to get the count from the special characters. Where shall we consider it from?
Instead of that, sir, we can give that a string with the our special character, and we can say that we can use only between that. That's the better.
Yeah, that is also possible. But right now we don't want to put so many constants here. So that's why I'm just trying to be as general as I can. Okay, so I think this is the first special character. This, what I say, exclamatory. This is a space. I'll skip this 32. So I'll start with 33, and I'll basically have to end it here, 33 to 47. I can again start from here, 58 to 64. Okay, so 33 to 47. Yeah, so I'll say that it should be greater than or equal to 33 and 47. Well, all right, just a minute. Greater than or equals to 40, 57, 58. That would be 64, just one less than the capital letter ASCII. Okay, all right. Now, can anyone tell me if I have done it correctly? All of the conditions, am I doing it in the right way?
I think we have written that after bracket and no, there should be the or.
Yeah, correct. It should be an or operator.
Yes.
Okay, I guess everything else is fine. Okay, all right. Okay, so now can someone tell me that if this condition is satisfied, that means we have checked that the first character basically comes or it falls in this range. In that case, we can assume that that character is basically an uppercase character. So what can we do in that case? If we want to show that green background color, what code shall I write?
Can you change the value of property for uppercase?
Yeah. So what the exact statement that I need to write here if I want to change the property?
Track, sir, can you slide? Can you go above?
Yeah.
I think track dot uppercase.
Track dot uppercase. Okay. So track dot uppercase. What should be its value?
RGB value some.
Yeah. So we can give an RGBA value. So let's see what
0.
value we need to put out. R will become 0 this
0.
time. G will become 255. B will again be 0, and let's keep it as 0.4 as we are using above. But there is a slight problem that we need to use this here. Like we cannot use the track dot
Yes.
uppercase directly. Yeah. I'll just copy this and we'll put it in rest of the blocks. So this is a special. This is number. Please let me know if I'm making any spelling mistakes. Okay, lowercase. All right. So what we have done is we are checking for each and every index. We are checking what is the XKI value or the Unicode value corresponding to that index character. And then we are accordingly changing the background color of all of the labels. So do you think it would work? Yes, anyone?
Sir, actually, it will work in only one direction. It won't go back.
Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, as we discussed that, let's first try to put up this logic. After that, we'll discuss that problem. What can we do? Yeah, so I guess this should work at least if we are adding more and more characters. So let's just try to, okay, I have saved it. I'll just refresh it.
Sir, I think why not it will work too if even I will delete, because the deleted value is the new updated value, and since here is that we are doing entire for loop.
Yeah.
So it will check the again. So it should work even
No,
that.
but last time the value has already been changed, right? It would have been made green already.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay, I'll just refresh it and I'll see. I am writing the small character or the lowercase. So yeah, you can see this lowercase has now been changed, A, B, C, D. After that, I'll write an uppercase character, A. So uppercase character label has also become green. Now if I'll try to add some spaces here. So nothing is happening because spaces doesn't fall in any of those categories. I'll put a number here, 0. And after that, I'll try to put what I say, a special character, let's say, yeah, this code. So that means we are able to at least put the one-sided logic. And if I try to delete it, nothing will happen. Right? All are green. So this is the thing that we need to work on now. But let's just try to do one thing. What will happen if I'll paste a value? Okay, anyways, I need to refresh it. Yeah, so it will work for these values as well, right? Okay. So now can someone suggest me what can we do so that we can even make it work if we try to delete some characters from the input box? Do we need to, yeah. Do we need to put else for each and every condition here?
Instead of that, its code will go a little more complex. So
yeah.
I was thinking, why not we can define the 4 variable.
Okay.
In the data value, the variable is that one is the whatever the 4 variable is that upper, lower, and everything.
Yeah.
And that every time we iterate that number, we will add the value and we will delete the value. So instead of doing every character lesson, so we will check the value. So even that time, if I delete one character, and we will see that which type of character is deleting, so I will reduce the number from there. That
Okay, so
means,
you are basically trying to get the deleted character and see what type of character is it, and accordingly change the background color. Is it?
yeah. So it is the only one time, so it will be easy to handle.
Let me just put up a scenario here. Let's say we have a string capital A, small b, and capital A again. And I deleted the
Yes.
capital A from the last, but still the capital A is existing in the beginning. How can you change the background color if that still exists?
No, sir. So suppose that, can you give the scenario that capital A?
Capital A, small b, capital A.
Okay. So in that case, upper value will be the 2, and the lower value will be the 1. So in whenever we delete the capital A, so the lower value will be 1, and capital value will be upper value will be also 1. So we don't need to change anything, because both is the 1 because I'm always tracking this thing, and through the watch I'm only manipulating the number, and I will write one compute method where who is handling only this thing, that 4 variable, and watch is handling to reduce the number of the adding the number of these things. So dynamically it will.
Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you repeat the last sentence?
Okay, so one thing, suppose I in the data track, in the data I created 4 value, upper, lower, special.
Apart from track, right?
Yeah, in the data, we created the 4 new value, upper, lower, number, and the special character.
Okay. Okay.
So instead of changing the color in the watch,
Yeah.
we will change the number. So
Okay.
this number we are getting every time new character. So
Okay.
we are adding the new character in the number. So the color changing process will happen in the compute method, where he will check all the 4. So which one is that updating and doing that? So it will be easy to handle.
Okay. So what I have understood, let me just try to summarize it here. That we'll put up 4 more instances here, instance variables, let's say upper, lower, number, or special once again. And instead
Yes.
of directly changing the background color, let's say we'll initialize those variables with value 0, and here we'll make it 1. And then we will
Yes.
have a method or a computed property that we can call from this val, right at the end, or maybe some other way, that will check what the value of each corresponding variable is. Let's say if the value of upper is 1, then we will change the background color. Is this what you are saying?
Yes.
Sir, could we do this by having 4 Boolean variables, like flag 1, flag 2, flag 3, flag 4, and based on that Boolean variables value, we'll assign the styling.
Okay. So you are having 4. I just want to clear it once. You want to create those 4 variables in addition to this track, or in place of this?
In place of this, sir.
So instead of uppercase, means having this value as RGBA, we will be having true or false. It's a Boolean value.
Yeah, 4 Boolean values, and based on Boolean values, we're going to keep the color. We'll keep assign the styling as red or green.
Okay. All right. I think that would work.
Sir, I think we should remove else from every block. We should check. We should go to each and every block after updating the value inside the input field.
Okay. Well, I didn't get it. We need to remove else.
Yes, sir.
Why? If we'll remove this else, so how will you check for lowercase, number, and special character apart from uppercase? Since this we have checked in it.
So for every check, for example, we want to check for uppercase, we will have if and else.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask in the beginning. That whether we want to make our code such long that we put if and else for each and every condition, even we are not sure if that is gonna work, because I have not tested that code. I cannot guarantee that kind of thing can work. It can even lead to some other problems that I have not come across yet. Yeah, that could be done. But basically, I have a very simple solution to this problem. All of those suggestions are well taken. Kumar, and I guess Rahul, you have given really good suggestions. All of those can be implemented, but I guess this means both of those methods would require us to put some computed properties. Uh, but the thing that I'm going to try here, I guess that won't require any such thing. So see, what I'm gonna do here is I'll copy this. Just a minute. Right. So this is what I'm going to try here. Can anyone try to understand what I'm doing here? I will be putting this similar kind of thing for each and every other properties as well, lowercase, number, and special character. But can someone try to understand why I'm doing so?
That is, every time this function is called, like every time we change the character, it will automatically go back to this red, and only if there is a special character or a uppercase, it will change it back into the green. Is that correct?
Yeah, okay. So let me just try to put it this way. We know that this watch will get invoked each time whenever the value of this bell will change, right? Now it can either include adding a new character or can even include deleting a new character, right? Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'm doing here is that whenever this function is invoked, I am resetting my instance, or we can say this track object to its initial state. What was this initial state? All of the labels were having the red background color. That means whenever the value of that password field is changing, I am assuming that all of the labels will start from the red background color, and we will start fresh each time whenever the value gets changed. And every time we will check what the first index is, what the second index is. See, what is happening is whenever this function or this pass watch gets triggered, I am resetting all of the uppercase, lowercase, number, and special values to have RGBA as red. Means I want to put the value as red. And after that, I'm putting this logic of for. That means I will iterate through each and every character in that string and will check that if any of those characters satisfies any of our criteria, accordingly, we will change the background color. So in that case, even if you are deleting a character, that method will get triggered and it will automatically reset all of the variables to its initial state. That means red. And once they all are resetted to the red, the remaining string, the logic, this logic will be executed for the remaining string. Let's say, let me consider the same example, capital A, small b, capital A. I know that when I stopped writing capital A, I will have two labels with background green. One is the lowercase, the other one is the uppercase. But as soon as I delete A, the capital A was, let's try to make it, sorry. Let's take a different example. It would be more easier to understand. Let's say we have this capital A and small. Now, once I have this small a entered in my text input, I can assume that two of my labels will have the green background color. One is the uppercase, the other one is the lowercase. But as soon as I deleted the last character, that means the small a, now we have only one character in our input box, that is the capital A. That means we only want our uppercase label to be in green color. The lowercase, it should turn into red again. So what we are doing, that when we delete that small a from our input text box, this thing will get triggered. This trigger watch method will get triggered. We are resetting each and every label. That means the uppercase, the lowercase, the number, and the special character, they all will be resetted to their initial value, that is red. And after that, we will iterate over the string. Now that we have only one character in a string, and that is the capital A. And since it has only one character, this loop will work only for one time, and this condition will be satisfied. So in that case, only the uppercase label will have the green background color. After that, this loop will end, and means all of the labels, they will remain in their original state, means in red background color itself. That thing won't change. because we are resetting all of the properties every time we are changing the value of our password variable. Are you able to get it? Anyone of you? Anyone of you is able to understand what I'm trying to explain here?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat the logic again?
Okay. So I think if I will have a pen, that would be more easier for me to make you understand. Let me just try to open a paint. I don't have my pen. I'll just do it with a cursor. Okay. Suppose I have a string. Let's say this is uppercase. Sorry for bad handwriting. I don't have a pen right now. Right. This is lowercase. This is number. And this is special character. Okay. And all of these values are having red background color. All of these labels. All are having red. Okay. The moment I enter a string, let's say A, B, and 1. Right. I entered capital A, small b, and 1. Okay. What will happen? When this A will be triggered, we will see that this uppercase value, it will get changed from red to green. After that, when this A will change, this A will be added. We will see that what I say, this lowercase also, this will turn into B. When we will go again, we will see that this is already green. So let's leave it as okay. And this one, we can say that number will also turn into B. I hope this was the previous logic and this is understood to all, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, we have what we have done is, let me, okay. We will be resetting these variables each time whenever there is a value change in the past. That means, forget about all of this. We are again restarting and we are saying R, and R is the new state. And right now I'm not considering this much big string. I am just considering a small string. Sorry. What is happening? I am doing so. Yeah. So this time I'm just considering a small string. Let's say A and A. And I'll try to explain it again. Now, once you enter this capital A, this watch method will get triggered. All of these values will be resetted to RR. Is it correct? As I said, I will be resetting all of these values to the red background color. So that means whenever you enter A, capital A, all will be resetted to R. After this, the for loop will get executed. For this capital A, this uppercase will turn into B. Only this uppercase. Since you have just entered A as of now, this A hasn't come yet. This small a hasn't come yet. Now, once it has turned into green, you stop. Now, as soon as you enter a new value in the text input, let's say small a, you entered a new value. What will happen? All will again get resetted to R. This will start fresh. R. Then we will iterate index over index. That means the first index is capital A. So we know this will fall in uppercase and this will turn into green. Now we will move to the second index, that is small a. So this will turn the lowercase label into green. After that, we don't have any more characters in this string. So what the state of the application is that the uppercase and lowercase labels, they are in green color, but the number and the special character, they will remain in red color. Now, this is the current state. If I try to delete this small a from my text input box, so what will happen? Again, this whole state will get refreshed. It will be resetted to R again. R. And then again, I will start iterating over my string, over my password string. Right now, I just have this a character. So I'll iterate over this a. I will get to know this falls under uppercase category. And I'll change this R to what? I'll change this R to G. And after that, I have no more characters in my string. That means all other labels will not change at all. That means only the uppercase label will be in green now and no other labels because I deleted this character. So this makes this basically resetted all of the variables to their initial value first to red, and after that we started iterating over the string. Are you able to get it?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. Is everyone clear with it, or shall I explain it again?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. All right. So this is what basically we are doing. We are resetting this to its initial value each time this method gets triggered. I'll just put it for all 4 of them.
So this means each time when you are resetting it, for a moment it changes back to red.
Correct. Yeah.
Just wanted to know, is it possible, like, can we do a sleep or set timeout and see the difference in within this, or
This happens basically very fast.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Number, what was the other one? Okay, it was special.
Special.
Okay, so now I'll just refresh this app. Okay. I'll try to enter the same string that I have put here. Let's say capital A and small a, that it will help you to understand better. As soon as I will press capital A, what it will do, we know that all of the labels are already in red color, but again, it will set all of them to red color once again. And after that, it will iterate over that string A and will check in what category does it fall. It falls in the uppercase. So that's why it will make the uppercase label green. Now, when I will press A again, what will it do? It will again turn all of the labels into red. After that, it will iterate over that string one by one, index by index. Capital A will turn the uppercase label into green. Small a will turn the lowercase letter into green. Right. This is what will happen. Now, if I will try to delete this small a from the end of this string, what will this do? This will again reset all of the labels to their initial state. What was their initial state? It was red. And after that, we will start iterating over that string. Now we don't have anything other than capital A with us. So this capital A will turn only uppercase label into green. The rest will remain as it is. That means they will remain red. See. Right now, as I'll start typing here, I'll try removing it. It will automatically get reset to whatever it is. Are you able to get it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyone who still have any doubt in order to understand what we have done? Anyone?
No, sir, clear.
Okay, great. Now, all right. Okay, so we are able to achieve that functionality that we wanted to. Means we are able to change the background colors accordingly. Means whatever the string is present inside this input label. Now, someone wants to say anything?
So in the every time we deleting or adding, so in the script we are using for loop for the every moment of the key press or
correct. We are doing so.
Okay. I was thinking to not to go to the for loop every time. So
okay, so this can be made more optimized, but we have to think a bit over it. But it's a good thing to start with at least. We are able to achieve what we wanted to.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Okay. So now just to build something on top of it, I know I said that we wanted to build a login page in this session, but I guess it's quite trivial for you to add a username and a submit button. And on the press of that submit button, you can check what I say means, okay, you can even have a confirm password field, and you can check if the enter password and confirm password field matches with each other. Then you can display a message like, okay, user created or something like that. Anyway, we are not working with databases as of now. Yeah. So the thing that I wanted to build on top of it is basically a password meter. We know we are providing this much information, but I also wanted to have a password meter that can basically tell us how strong our password is. Doesn't matter if we have even have a uppercase, lowercase, number, or special. Doesn't mean that our password is strong, because it just have 4 characters. It's, I guess, won't be difficult for a hacker to crack such password. We also need to focus on the length, right? What the length of the password is. That's why I wanted to have password a password strength meter as well here that could show us whether our password is, what the password strength is, means it's excellent, it's poor, or whatever it is. I just wanted to add that as well. So can someone give me an idea how can we start with that password meter? I think we can use these values itself in order to make that password meter work.
And also we can add one thing to number of character.
Yeah. Sorry.
So number of character.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. The length of the password. Yes.
So if we take that length of password is 8,
yeah,
and this 4 character must be there. So we can use some percentage to compute that automatically, and according to percentage we will change the color. So
yeah,
how
correct.
strong?
We are gonna do a similar kind of thing. I can basically put it right after that. Once this for loop finishes, I can put it right after that. But I don't want to make this code very complex to understand for you, as I also want to share it with you after this session so that you can have a look and try this on your own as well. What I'll do is I'll put up a method here. Okay, I'll do that computation in this method. So I'll create a method, let's say, meter or something like that. This function will have any parameters? I guess not required. Okay. Okay. So what else can we do here? Okay. Firstly, we can basically iterate over this object, that what all values have this value. Means what all labels are basically turned into the green color. This is what we wanted to check. So how can we do that? I just want to iterate over this object track. Can I do something like this for, let's say, I in track? Is it okay?
Can we do this thing dynamically whenever that other thing is calculated? Because so in the every hit we will get that it is the how strong or not instead of here. So for that,
yeah, means we'll get it in every hit. For each change in the input field, you will get a feedback whether the password is strong, weak, or whatever it is. So I'll tell you how. Yeah.
Okay. So two for loop is going to run parallelly.
Yeah, this is a small for loop. This just have 4 elements, right?
Okay.
You don't need to worry about that too much. Okay. So for I in track, so if I'm using in here, that means what I'm iterating over here. Am I iterating over the keys or over the values?
Over the keys, I think.
Keys.
Yeah, over the keys. Let me just create one more variable here. Let's say C, just to basically keep a track of the number of conditions that are satisfied. So now I'll check if track of I, since I basically denotes the key, if it is equals to what? If it is equals to this. That means I'm checking that which all keys have this value. That means, 1 second, this is not the one that I wanted. I want to check which all the keys have the value this RGBA 0255. That means they are already turned into green. And if that happens, what I can basically do is I can say C++, language name as well. Yeah. So apart from that, we also discussed that we wanted to have a password length criteria as well. So what we'll say is we'll also check that if this dot pass dot length, let's say if it is greater than, let's put a limit of how many characters? Let's say 7. That means it should be of at least 8 characters in order to make it an excellent password. I'll again increase it C++. Just a minute. Okay, now we have basically calculated the value of C here. What we'll do is we'll put some conditions, quite simple conditions. What can be the maximum value of this C? Can someone suggest? What can be the maximum value of this C variable?
5.
Yeah, it can be 5. So we will say that if C equals to 5, what will we do? Okay, we need to create a password meter. I'll put a label here. Password meter. And after that, I'll put this one more label. And here I can basically show the strength. This strength is gonna be a variable here. And what can be the initial value? The initial value can be, I guess, please enter a valid password. Why I'm writing a valid password here is because if someone enters a space, we are not considering it a password. If someone starts with a space. So, yeah. So I'll say if the value of C is 5, I want to change the strength to, let's say password strength is excellent. I put sometimes this semicolon, sometimes not. Else if, again, we can use else if because any one of these conditions can be satisfied at once, not all of the conditions. After that, we can check if this value is equals to 4. We can say that the password strength is maybe very good, something like that. Right, if it is 3, but we can say it's good. If that is 2, I'll say it's what I can say. I can say it's average. Else if C equals to 1, I could say it's poor, something like that. And else means the value can only be 0. So in that case, we'll change the message to please enter a valid password. That means there is no condition that is satisfied. In that case, we can only assume 2 things. That means no character is being entered in the text box, or you have just entered the spaces, or maybe a special character for which we have not put the conditions on. I'm assuming that these 2 can be the cases that can occur in this else condition. Now we have created this function meter, but can someone tell me that where should I call this meter function? Can someone tell me? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So can someone?
In
Can
the
someone?
yes, in the input text, this is that where you method we created, no?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I have created one method and one watcher. What I can do is, if I want to get the results in real time, I'll simply call it here, like this dot. What was the name? I guess meter.
but method also call that in real time. Also, if we mention there in the HTML.
Yes, yes, you can mention it here as well. But
Okay.
where you want to mention?
Yes, in HTML we can't mention anyway.
You can basically, someone suggested in the beginning that we can use key up, key down events. That is something you can make use of here. But right now I'm just calling it right after we finished all of the computations in the watcher. I am directly calling meter. That means after turning the labels, background colors into red or green, whatever it is, I am basically trying to change the meter values. So password meter, it still it says please enter a valid password. If I'll enter spaces, nothing will happen. If I'll enter A, 1 second, this has not been changed yet. What has happened? For C plus 0, let I in track. Let me just check if this function is being called each time or not. So dot log check. Check in console. Okay, it's giving an error. Track is not defined. Error in callback for watcher pass. Track is not defined. Okay, looks like we have used track somewhere. We have not used this.
In the for loop.
In the for loop, we are using DAL.
No, in the above for loop. For I in track, I in this.
Okay. Yeah. So if I'll enter A, again something wrong. Track is not defined.
Inside for loop also we need to do this dot track.
Okay. Any other thing we need to make this change?
No, sir. Now it's
okay. You can see this is now changing. Password strength is poor as of now. If I'll enter A, I'll enter 1 and a special character as well. Password strength is very good. Now if I'll enter J, K, J, H, it won't change because we need to make it of at least length 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now it will get changed to excellent. Right. I'll just put this method here. I'll just comment that code. Yeah. So now we are able to basically implement what we wanted to. Right. So anyone having any doubt in this?
Sir, can you please go back to the code? I have some other questions.
Yeah.
Sir, this method or data,
yeah,
all are the properties of object A.
Yes.
So when we call pass, when we call track, why not to call A dot data dot track? Or this dot data dot track.
Basically, what Vue does is it puts these properties on the top of its scope. Puts it on the top of its scope. That means it moves all of these properties from data to here in its own scope. That's why we are calling this dot track directly. We are not calling this dot data dot track.
So this is view what they
Yeah,
are doing
this
something.
is done by view. Yeah, view does it. And yeah, means if you need to, let's say, access this property pass, so you can easily do that. A dot pass, you will be able to access this property. Since view is putting it on top of its scope, so you don't need to write this data. And if you try to do so, it will say invalid. It's some kind of error.
Means that this dot data dot pass will be invalid.
Yes. I can even show you, let's say, console.log, I would say this dot data dot pass. Right? We are getting an error here that I cannot read properties of undefined, because for this this dot data, it is considering it an instance variable itself, and since it's not defined, it's initialized to undefined by default, and you are trying to access an attribute of an undefined value. So that's not possible.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions? Yeah, anyone? Okay, if everyone has understood this, shall we quickly look at the problem at the week 3 exercise?
Yes, before that, one thing I just want to discuss.
Yes.
Suppose instead of, can you go on the website that of the password?
Sure.
Yes. So whenever we clicking something on the inside the input, it's all the method is working. I want to some action after coming outside.
After coming outside, sorry.
Like that, my cursor is inside that input.
Yeah.
So it's everything is working. But moment I come outside and click anywhere on the space, apart from that input. So any places. So can we call any method after that?
Okay, so if I click here and try writing something.
Correct. So I want that time some method to.
I think you can bind an event to this div or maybe to this body, but I'm not sure. Basically, you need to put everything inside a div and bind an event, a click event for that div.
Actually something. So in that case, what can we do? So this entire body is the red, in that password is red.
Yeah.
So it will be become white every time. So whenever it's come outside of the input, the cursor, then it shows that okay, I just came out from this input. So this thing is left. But till now I'm inside the inside input. That means I'm supposed to write something. So that means it should be the white. And moment I come outside of that input means in some other input or anywhere.
So
that
you need to change the color of what?
Actually, the simple question if I can make, that means if suppose still I'm writing inside inbox, it is okay. But moment I came out from the inside inbox, in the input box, I want some function to execute.
What you want to do with the with that function?
Okay, so suppose that in that beginning, in your case, everything you made the red color, no?
Yeah.
So I will keep it all the white. And because I'm writing right now something, so logic is that since I'm writing inside the password, means I'm going to write something. So it can be white and green. Moment I came from the outside of the password, that means I left something. So that time it will show that red.
So what you want is that if we are outside of this text box, all of these labels should have a default background color. It's white.
No. So whatever the input is there, green is there, and whatever the white is there, it will change in the red. Not when we are inside the inbox. Means that moment we come out from the input text, we need to call some function on that input. That's I wanted to.
I am basically getting it, but not completely. See, if we are inside it and we are typing it, the background color of this label will either be red or green, right?
So, sir, we can leave this thing right now. One thing is there. If inside we are doing writing something, it is okay.
Okay.
Moment I came out from the input box,
Mhm.
I want to execute one compute method or watch for that password field.
I think you
That's
can do that. Let me just try to do it. What I'll do is I'll basically create one more div here, right? So that this whole thing, this comes under this div, right? And I can basically bind an event. Let's say click event. What can it say? Oh, sorry. It would basically call a function, let's say something.
But one thing, sir, here, no, because we are calling the on click on the div function, no?
Yeah.
That div function will be not entire box. It will be very little.
Yeah, it will be little. So at least what we can do here in this app is this area will get at least 2 click.
Yes, only up to area we can get.
Yeah, yes. Otherwise, you can basically set the width and height of that div that you can do yourself, I guess. If you want to make it wider or bigger.
No, so because there will be in the website and there is the lots of field will be there. Field 1, field 2.
Yeah.
So I can randomly click on the something.
Yeah, right now
It
for
may
this
be the
testing
some other
purpose,
button
we will have this
It
space.
may be the some
but
other input I'm clicking. Okay. Yes.
yeah, so I am calling something here, and
we can call on the method.
Right now I'm just gonna do a log.
Console here, correct.
Right, so I'm typing here. The moment I click here, I get this message.
Okay.
So yeah, this can be done.
Okay. We binded everything inside we clicked. Okay. Got it.
I'll just update as of now.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please once more clear this. If what happened if I just swap the logic of method and the watcher, then what would happen?
See, the watcher property is something that gets invoked automatically. We don't need to make a call to this pass method explicitly. The view will take care of that. Whenever this attribute's value will change, view will automatically call this method, and whatever the new value this field will get, it will be passed as parameter here. So if you will make it a method, you are required to call it explicitly. View won't call it for you. But right now, if it is inside watch, view is calling it for us. We don't need to call it explicitly.
Okay.
So that's the difference between watcher and methods. What your
Okay,
exact question is, if you want to swap this, so
yes,
I don't know if you are swapping this, how will you basically need some kind of computed property or watcher at least, if you want to detect a change in that instance variable pass, because these are the only two things that gets invoked automatically whenever there is a change. Methods needs to be called explicitly. Well, you can do this in methods as well, but I guess this will become a little bit complex.
okay, sir. So then, when I try to write code, then how can I know which logic will be under watcher and which will be under method?
That you basically need to take a call on. Right now, I wanted whatever that needs to be triggered with each change in the text input, I put it in watcher. Yes, I can put the method that I have created here in the watcher itself, but just for the sake of not making it too long, yeah, you can say complexity. I just created a method and called it from here. Yeah. So that it would be easier for you to understand later on as well. That yeah, we are calling this function from here. Otherwise, putting everything inside a single function, that would make it difficult to read or understand as well.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. So is this thing clear to everyone? The application that we have created today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. The week 4 project, sorry, week 3 exercise, the tic-tac-toe. No, I don't have that right now. I'll have to get that from the GitLab directly. I'll just try to explain you the basic thing. Means how can you implement that? How many wins are made by X? How many wins or losses are registered by the other player? And how many draws? Yeah. Okay. So I think I can show it in the component one. That one that you can perform the same thing on that as well. So I'll open this index 2 and I'll open this component one. So what we are doing here is we are just showing a board. Okay, board is okay. All right. So this is the board component. Here we can add those two paragraphs. So one is for the X. Let's say the number of wins registered by X are. I'll create a variable. Right now I'm leaving it as it is. The losses registered by X. This will be something as well. And then the draws. Okay. I'll copy this and I'll change it to Y, win, losses, and draw. Okay. Hey, wait. Okay, that's not Y. That's O. Okay. So now those who have already implemented this, I wanted to know how they have completed it. Means, did they try the similar kind of thing that I'm doing here, or they took some other approach?
Kind of, sir. The two line you have written, that's because till now implementation is not done. So
Okay, okay. Now, since we need to show the number of wins registered by each of the player, I will need to keep a track of how many how many wins or losses are registered by each player in some kind of variables. So
we can do one thing. In the data after next, we can declare the 5 variable: X win, X loss, O win, O loss, and the draw 1.
Okay. But why do we need 5 variables? Why can't we do it with just 3? See, if we know that the number of wins registered by X are, let's say, 3, so we can easily say that the number of losses registered by O will be 3.
What I did that I just didn't think about that. Just kept everything separate, And so easy calculation. I did everything separate because the variable was the separate. There was a 5 variable in the question. It is mentioned there.
Yeah.
So in the question there was a 5 variable. So I used that 5 variable separate and updated at every moment.
You mean question on the portal here?
Yes, yes.
Sorry, let me check once. Okay, it's in week 3. It is in exercise 3. So
sample output is
okay,
there.
okay, that was all right. Yeah, that I just wrote in order for your easier understanding. Yeah, that's okay. It's completely fine if you are using 5 variables. Right now, I want to make it more easier, or let's add one more component here. That basically says the total number of matches played. So total matches played, and I'll show a value something. Okay. Now I'll start writing variables. Let's say one is x win. Sorry, not equals to. Its value can be 0 initially. Yeah, it needs to be 0. The other one can be x loss. It can be again 0 again. And the other thing I want to, okay, let's keep a total here. So I am trying to make it a little bit more optimized, but you can even create more variables if you want. So here I will write x win, the number of wins registered by x, and here I'll write x loss. Similarly, in the O loss, I can write the x win, because the number of wins registered by x, they will be equivalent to the number of losses registered by O. In the same way, the number of wins registered by O will be equivalent to number of losses registered by x. And in order to compute the draw, what we can do is we can deduct total means all of the matches. Okay, we can directly, okay. So can someone tell me what logic can I put here if I want to basically show the number of draws? Anyone?
Total minus win minus loss.
Exactly. That's what we need to do. Total minus x win dot minus dot x loss. This is how we can compute the draws, and total I can directly put it. That's an instance variable. So now this will just show the values as it is, but we need to compute these values with a logic as well. So right now I don't want to get into this code that how it is written. We can just make use of these comments. It is written here that here x will win, here O will win, and here it shows that it will be a draw. So if x is winning, I can say that x win plus plus, that means x has registered a win. Along with that, I would say, sorry, this should be this. Along with that, I have to also increment the total number of matches played. The same thing will be done with this O1 as well. This dot total, and this dot x loss. Yeah, so if O is winning, that means the x is losing in that case. And here in case of draw, I will just say this dot total plus plus. Do I need to make any change, any other change here apart from draw? X win or x loss, something like that?
No.
No, it's not required, I guess. Let me just see x win, x loss, x total. I think we should be able to get it. 1 second. This draw is not rendered. Right. Okay. Total minus x win minus x loss. Yeah. So I'll just refresh it. Now I am getting each and everything as 0. Let's just try to make a game where x will win. So here x has won, so x win changed to 1. O losses changed to 1, and total matches played are 1. But right now, we don't have any reset button here, right? We also want to create a reset button. How can we do that? Because we want to play that game again. We want to reset this board without losing all of this information. That was not given as part of exercise, but right now I think there is a need. Yeah, so can someone suggest me where can we add that button?
Okay, we can do one thing, sir.
Yeah.
In the below of that in template, just below of the game, I can create one div button.
Okay. Yeah.
And that button, I can write that that button, and I can call one function there, play again. So
okay, let me put this button here. I'm putting it on the top. I guess it would be better. Yeah. So button.
Add click. We can write play again.
Okay, play again.
Inside button, I can write add click.
Yeah.
Yeah, beyond. Yeah, anything. So, and
let's say a function name is again. Anything means you can keep it again, whatever you want.
This again we can call in the method.
Yeah, we can define this again in here.
And yes, and now we will do two things. So in the data, whatever the value is there, one can you go up on the data? Yes, sir. So board equal to that two value I will copy and I will start from the 0 0. Board I will make the entire same thing is 0, and next we'll make 1, and everything I will leave same.
But what I want, Kumar, that this play again button, it should not be visible to the user every time whenever the user plays. It should only be visible, or we can say it should only be enabled when the game has finished. We should not allow the user to reset the game into it.
Okay, then we can do one thing. No? I just kept that every time open it is, and but we can do one thing. So first we will create one logic to reset that, and then later I will make the entire button visible or not visible after at the end. So
okay, let me create a variable here. Let's say play, and let me keep it what I say,
true or
false. True. Yeah, false or true, anything. I can keep it true as well. And let's keep it false. And the reason of creating this button here is where I have created this button. Yeah, so here I'll use a property. One second. So here I can use a property called disabled. Disabled, and its value is gonna be play. That means when the value of this, okay, we need to bind it. So I'll put colon here. Yeah, that means if the value of this play is false, this disabled attribute will be false as well. That means the button will be enabled. In the beginning, we want it to be
true.
So we'll just put a not operator here. Okay. Yeah. So whenever the game finishes, and whenever the game is finishing, we know where is it happening here. I'll just change the play attribute to what I can change it to true, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Then I have to do in the 3 places.
Yeah, correct. Here, and once it is done, there are methods. So once it is done, we have to reset it to what was the name? Play, I guess. We need to reset it to false. Right? But yeah, this is okay. We will be able to enable or disable the button, but don't forget, we also have to reset the board.
Correct.
Right? So in that case, what will I do is, okay, I can make use of this. I have to basically reset this whole array.
Yes.
Right. I'll put it here, this dot board. Here I'll say 0. That means 0th index. So here what I'm doing is I'm using a set method of view class where I'm giving the instance that I want to change, the instance variable, the index of it, which I want to change, and what the new value should be. But I need to do it for all of the other elements. So you can probably put a put. Right now, I'll do it very quickly.
But sir, directly we can do one thing.
Yeah.
We can write this dot board equal to completely empty array. That's also work fine.
Basically, there are some limitations in Vue that if you directly try to change the indexes of any array, they won't be reactive.
So I'm not changing the any index of the array. I'm completely changing the entire array itself.
Yeah, let me try that once. I guess yeah, that's correct. This dot code equals to
yes.
1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. Right.
Yes.
Let us just try once.
One more thing, sir. Next also we need to do.
Sorry.
Next equal to 1.
1 second. Okay. This dot next equals to 1. All right. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll reload it. So you can see this play again button is disabled as of now. I'll see if there is any error in the console. Well, let's just close it as of now. Yeah, let us just play once. So here, that means X has won. That means we get this button enabled. As soon as we'll click on it, this button will get disabled, and yeah, it will again show us what happened. I'll try to, probably yeah, so it's a draw. Yeah, again, this button has now been enabled, and we are getting that data being shown here on the top. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Yeah, is there any issue to anyone in understanding this code? I guess this is simple. You just need to create some basically variables in the data attribute and add some HTML so that it can get rendered on the screen. Yeah, so any issues to anyone? I'll well, not sure if I'll be putting it on the GitLab, but at least I can share it in the discourse, the codes that we have worked on today. That means that password thing and this updated file, I'll share it on the discourse.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one thing, when I try to extend add extension for view in my using my IITM ID.
Yeah.
So it's saying add administrator for access.
Yes, correct.
But using my personal email ID, it's possible. Why,
yeah,
sir?
Yeah, so there are some restrictions using the domain of online degree. That's why.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just add this? I actually posted a discourse thread on this, and I provided a solution for
so
this.
So you need
also.
to add it explicitly. Yes.
Yeah, like in as a CRX file, directly like drag and drop on that extensions page, and then it will install without any issue.
I have seen many of such posts in the discourse as well, that they are facing difficulties while installing that extension with the online degree account. So this is probably the method that you can follow. I have even tried to give the reference to the thread created by Rahul. So I think you can go through once through that thread, and I guess you will be able to install the Vue with online degree account on. You don't need to switch to any account. Okay. Well, yeah. So is there anything that we need to discuss here? Okay, is this thing understood to everyone? But we have done in this Tic-tac-toe app? we have added 3 components here to show the total matches played, the number of wins, losses, and draws registered by each of the user, X and O. And also we have added a button so that we can disable it and enable it accordingly whenever the game gets over. I'll just stop sharing. Yeah, okay. So anyone having any queries? Yeah, please do let us know. Yeah, thanks Rahul for sharing this. Okay, as I mentioned, I'll post this code on the discourse as well. You can try this thing after the session, and you can post in the discourse in case you are not able to understand a particular thing. I hope you would have enjoyed today's session, understood how does the view work, and how you can create some interactive applications with the help of this front-end framework. Yeah, so week 5 lecture, this time it's also gonna be live on Monday, 6 p.m. I hope you all would have got the announcements as well. The lecture will happen at 6 p.m. on Monday as usual. We hope that you will start getting recording from week 6 onwards. Yeah, and I guess the quiz is coming up on 30th January as well. So I hope the preparations have already been started. Yeah, okay, fine. So anyone having anything, or shall we close this session then? Okay, all right. I guess it's fine. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for joining with us in this session, and we'll see you in the next live session on Monday at 6. Yeah, till
Okay,
then,
sir. Thank
wish
you,
you a
sir.
happy weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.